current reporter Daniela Altamari has just returned from a trip to the nation's capital where she spoke with the state's outgoing Senator Joe Lieberman and Senator Richard Blumenthal, nearing the end of his first year in office. Today, you can read about Daniela's visit with Senator Blumenthal in The Current. Now we bring you their conversation.
I was surprised by the magnitude of the partisan gridlock. Obviously, it wasn't completely unexpected, but the kind of partisan paralysis that exists here, the stalemate and gridlock, are astonishing and appalling. And people are rightly angry about it. I'm maddened and upset about it literally daily when I see it stymie and even stop the government from doing what it should be doing in helping people and creating jobs, which ought to be our #1 priority.
I'm sure you've heard the knock that you were here up at the U.S. Senate, but yet you never stopped being Attorney General, and you're back in Hartford whining, about the dangers of bad toys and those types of things. I mean, is that, you fought it was a pretty brutal campaign, very, very hard fought. You got here, yet you're still championing some of those causes that you did as Attorney General. How do you respond to that? I mean, I'm sure you've heard that.
I am very proud of continuing to champion consumer issues, whether it's toy safety or fair payment plans, the layaway plans for people that unfairly take advantage of them, dangers in toys or other appliances or products. Those have federal implications. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is a federal agency that has jurisdiction over products as well as toys. And for years, I asked the Consumer Product Safety Commission to be more aggressive and to take stronger action, and perfectly appropriate for me to continue to champion that cause.
And you were talking a little bit about sort of all the stuff that's going on. I mean, you're a U.S. Senator. It's Washington. I'm sure there's lots of fun parties and lots of fun events. You're generally not one to attend a lot of those things? I mean, the social stuff, or you'd rather be here reading? And
I would rather spend the time here focused on the work that I have to do to prepare and to write and to read, because when I'm back in Connecticut, I'm really on the road pretty constantly, going to events, meeting with people, listening, hearing about what's going on back in the state. I try to do in 3 days what I used to do in 7. So when I'm down here, I'm focused on the work of committees or legislation, votes, upcoming, that kind of thing. And the receptions and the parties tend to be pretty interchangeable.
After you've been to one, you've been to them all, kind of thing.
Right.
I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about the feeling, or reflect a little bit on your trip over to Afghanistan, and you met with your son while you were there, right?
I didn't meet with my son. I didn't make it to the post where he was, which is out in a little bit more unprotected area.
You didn't go out there.
I didn't see my son, but we did go to the general area in Helmand Province and Camp Leatherneck. The trip was really very eye-opening. The purpose of this trip was really to try to do more to protect our troops against the roadside bombs, the IEDs. And as a result, we've taken a number of actions. I met there people who had seen some of these incidents, and then I go here periodically to go to visit the Bethesda Naval Center, where they're brought after they suffer these wounds or injuries. And it's absolutely powerful and moving to meet some of the young men who were brought back. One of them, as a matter of fact, is from Connecticut, Greg Caron from Ellington. He's there now, and I visited him a couple of times, went with the commandant to pin a Purple Heart on him. it's probably the most moving thing that I've done while I'm in this job, just to see young men whose lives are changed forever, facing the future, wanting to continue to serve. One of the really fascinating and important things that we're doing, and you heard me mention it this morning, I'm convinced that the next 9/11 will be a cyber attack. And that is not an original thought. General Petraeus has said it in so many words. We have a group, Senator Whitehouse and I and others have a group that crosses committee lines but focuses on cyber. And one of our frustrations is that the public can't be fully informed because so much of it is classified. We do it in the security briefing rooms that are in the depths of the center over here in the Capitol. And we receive briefings from the National Security Agency, from the CIA, from former officials, from the private companies that do work in this area. And there are some very important legal issues involved. I'm sure that the public has no real idea, but it should, about the work being done and the work that needs to be done, and the very frightening threat from foreign governments as well as gangsters and terrorists who are literally attacking not only our governmental institutions but private companies every day, trying to take intellectual property and new technology. And some of the stories are absolutely mind-boggling. This job is really the experience of a lifetime. And the perspective is not just 12 months. It has to be 12 years and longer. This job is one, like the Attorney General position, that can be developed, that I will hopefully become better at doing the longer I'm in it, but also that I will develop ways to expand the reach and the ability to make it productive for the people of Connecticut. I have said, you've heard me say again and again and again, I'm going to be the senator from Connecticut. I'm going to fight for Connecticut. I see the world through the lens of Connecticut. I go back every weekend. I listen to people of Connecticut. That's my mission here. And I hope that the passage of time will give me not only seniority but more effectiveness.
Up next, 'tis the season to give back. Connecticut Republicans are heading out to help out.